as we get bullish signs and tons of positive news, fundamentally concreting the viewpoints of investors and openly admitting what's going to happen is a bull run which is imminent. But the question is, can the market be in a bull run and XRP reach new highs, which we all want it to reach, and then you lose? In other words, can XRP win this race and you lose your targets? Yes, it's still possible. Why? Because there is a notion in the market that in a bull run, everyone is a genius. And that's true to an extent because you are going to make money. But making profits and money and reaching your targets is a different story. Now, what can actually go wrong in that beautiful scenario of an extended bull run which we are all waiting for? Let's dig in. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you would like to extend your support for the channel, you can use the Patreon, PayPal or the XRP wallet address in the description below. Patreon will allow you to get additional value for your portfolio with a variety of assets other than XRP, and you will be able to get charts, setups and other related fundamental strong stuff to trade and invest for those assets in that Patreon. Now, when we look at regulations itself, we understand there's a lot of things happening. If we just look at the central bank digital currency stuff itself in different parts of the world, yes, we can see connection with Ripple from one way or the other. But when we look at the regulatory sides, say regulations are entering the train or waiting for the train. And as it starts moving, we should be prepared by understanding our targets and create a plan B or even plan C to improvise in different scenarios. So what will be the requirement to improvise in a bull run, right? There is a notion that everyone is a genius in a bull run. Say you're just using this food drawing. If you are considering that the price is moving like this, and you took your profit somewhere here, that's good, right? You bought somewhere here, you sold somewhere here, and you were actually expecting the price to go up. Now you took you took your profits here and the price dipped, you bought in again. Now that just increased your profit and increased the number of units of XRP which you have. That is actually a cool thing to do. Now the price actually goes to the upside, reach as another top, it makes a distributional pattern and go to the downside. What happens is you're going to sell here, thinking to rebuy somewhere here. If in the same case the price starts to bounce there itself and then immediately bounce to the upside, in that aspect you're going to actually lose number of units, but you still would be in profit when you take your profits here and buy more here. You would be actually increasing, but the chances for accurately doing this every time in a bull run, based on human beings, it's not possible. If you are using algorithms to trade this market, then that's a different story. But as far as we are concerned, there is no straight line in a bull market, right? It always goes to the upside or to the downside. We don't know what's going to happen. If you just look at what happened previously, we can see that fluctuations which would be creating panic. Say we don't actually know what's going to happen this day. We just had a huge bull run. We were actually waiting for something even more to extend the bull run to the other side, go to the upside, right? So till here, we only have the information like this. Say the RSI, stochastic RSI is at the top in the overbought situation. The price is pumping. Moving averages are below and we expect it to continue. Then the next day, it just gets a bit of correction. So if you are an investor, who entered very low here and who got that kind of a profit, say 1000%, and if you are using leverage, your portfolio would be shifting from say $100,000 profit just to going back to $50,000 profit. So you would be tempted to take that profit at that time, thinking that yeah, okay, I will buy after that along with the same profit. But even if you are adding your profit in and then looking at the price, in exchanges you can see a sell price and a buy price. So that is spread. So when you sell that or take profit, you would be getting that price in that sell, meaning you entered in a buy position, you are taking profit and you would be getting the price of sell. That's how the exchanges make money, right? So you are not actually getting the accurate high. Even if you are so accurate and picking that high, you are really not able to pick that high because of the spread. That is one thing. And then the market fluctuation. So the benefit of being a holder and a trader is different. If you are an exceptional trader who can trade even 15-minute chart, that's going to be crazy. Now, yes, you have to understand traders who can trade this market like 30-minute chart, 15-minute chart would be making more money based on the fluctuation, but it's near to impossible for everyone to do that unless you have huge experience in that arena. You are not going to be profitable in that. But what you are looking at is your target, right? So you need an exit strategy, and on what basis you would be preparing your exit strategy. One, yeah, we know that the price history, it fluctuated like this, that and all. At the same time, we also would be looking at what really is happening now in this market, right? How this market can actually affect the fundamentals of this project. When we look at this in different scenarios, how this is actually happening and what we can expect in the near future. Say if you are looking at a company and looking to buy a stock, what would we actually look? You would be looking at their profits ratio, earnings ratio, like those kind of traditional stuff, right? But when you enter into crypto space, majority of them would be just looking at the market cap. But that's not fair. If you're looking at the price, it's basic economics, supply and demand. So now when we say supply, you should be looking at the actual supply of XRP rather than checking 100 billion in different say coin market cap and others, because that doesn't fit well. Others are in escrow, and at least majority of them would be in that escrow for a long time. And in that aspect, if demand is rising in 1 month, they won't be able to take everything out. So supply versus demand can increase the price there. That is the fluctuation which we are all waiting for. And when we say that, keep this in mind. If you look at all the fluctuations happening or happened in XRP, you get one thing clear, right? In the first one, if you are looking at the first pump here, just measure the number of days it actually took for that bounce. 10 days to reach that high. And then after that, it consolidated. So what you have to look at is it started consolidating from 3rd of April towards 27th of April. So if you actually look at that, say on 1st of that month, you would be getting that escrow released, and then the price slowly tanked. You can otherwise say, Ripple dumped on us, blah, 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 even though you already know that every month the escrow is going to be released. Now, at the same time, when you look at this thing, slowly by the end of that month, it started pumping again, and then it reached that area where, the XRP release is going to be there, and it slowed down. And then after that escrow release, it again started that pump. So if you really look at that, you can understand after that escrow pump, it went to the upside for another 14 days. So it's just taking 10 to 14 days of the real fluctuation between the escrow release and the next one, right? But now the scenario is different. Previously it was 1 release in a month, and now it's 2, right? So if you really look at that, even if we are going to have a 10 or 14 days fluctuation really in that XRP range, and then a lot of profit taking along with the escrow releases, because if you look at the entire area here from the top till we started the next one, you can clearly understand that in that 200 days, 212 days to be precise, there were a lot of escrow releases, and it was not pushing the price to the downside, right? The price was staying there, but it was the investors who were taking profits and waiting to see what's really going to happen. Will the price actually go to the upside from here, or will it go to the downside? Because the price already had done around 8,000 percentage in profit. So everyone were confused, but the last leg of that bull run took off. Now, if you are actually looking at that, look at the date on which it was starting, December 12th. Now, if you put your marker there, say on December 12th day, and look at when till what date it actually went up, it's easy to understand that till 31st it was actually going to the upside. Till 29-30 it was going to the upside. Then investors, the smart money, was actually waiting for that escrow release and to see what's really happening, and then it slowed down. If you're looking at things in that way, you can understand after the escrow release, they understood it's not actually pulling the price down, meaning there are a lot of demand and the supply is not enough even after that escrow release, and then the price pumped again. So if you are looking at that in a perspective connecting the supply and demand, you will understand that even after that it went 60% up. Now yes, looking at these 8,000% or 500%, 60% is nothing. But what you have to understand is, one way you can say that after that release it only went up 60%. It affected, meaning the supply increased and the demand was not quite strong to push that supply even further in terms of price, right? You can actually say that. So in the next bull run, if you are looking at that, you will really have to understand both of these stuff. One is the technical and fundamental together, and then the economic side, which is the basic supply and demand. Look at when Ripple, the company, would be releasing the escrow. Now yes, we can agree that as of now they are releasing those and then immediately locking it back up, but we don't know when the demand is going to increase in a huge manner, and then they are going to give that 500 million twice. We don't actually know that, but one thing for sure is that it happens twice, and first of the month it comes out, the first one. So if you are looking for a pump by the end of a month, say, we can expect, based on the history, say if we are going to start a pump now 15, 16 or 17, there is a room for 10-12 days running to the upside by the time that escrow is released, and then a correction, and again 10-14 days till the next escrow release, right? So that really is a possibility if we are just looking at the price action and supply and demand. But what is the thing which we really have to understand, even looking at the history? Say here there were a lot of escrow releases, the supply was increasing. Still, from that particular point here, if you actually measure it from here, say the bottom here till that top here, why did the price actually go around 2000%? Why did the price didn't go to the downside? Because it already went to the upside like 8,000%. Even after all of these escrow releases, it didn't go down. Why? The supply was even higher than that. The demand was even higher than that, meaning the supply was even lower than the demand. Now, when we are talking about supply and demand, it's really important to understand these scenarios which is rolling out in the in and around us. So when we look at these stuff, say this tweet from Bank of International Settlement shows the market turmoil highlighted vulnerabilities from the growing interconnection between banks and non-financial institutions. The centralization aspect is also being highlighted now. So you need a cross-border claims market which should be decentralized. So now Central Bank Payment News is highlighting that a new BIS org article looks at cross-border links between banks and non-bank financial institutions. So this really is entering into a market where cross-border payments itself is at the cusp of transformation. Now that's word from Marcus Treacher, right? So if we are understanding it properly, we can get the connection easily. We previously saw that Ripple was working with Bank of England, Ripple was working with Accenture, Ripple was working with MIT. Now these institutions, either Ripple or their partners, are working with other institutions directly to issue their digital fiat. Let it be digital dollar, let it be digital euro. But one thing is for sure, that the current economic situation is not wrapping up, right? Governments are ready to print as much as required in their terms. Like say here Steve is stating now is not the time to worry about deficits, meaning they're going to print a hell lot and create a lot more deficits. One thing which you, if you are young, what you have to understand is they are borrowing from the future and spending it now. If they give me $1 trillion now, I can show you a good time. It's not that hard. But who will pay all of these back? That is the question, right? So that is the era where we are entering, in which your fiat currency, say USD, Euro, Yen, Yuan, whatever it be, it would be depreciating against your asset. Let it be XRP, BTC or any other crypto project which has a viable reasoning to exist, meaning it will become a store of value. Now, if you are looking at XRP precisely and the fundamental aspects of this one, which is increasing on a regular basis, on a daily basis we can state, it is going to become a store of value soon. Now, all those calculations which we did previously, 700 trillion, 23 trillion, 150 trillion, everything related to the payment market, it's only the utility side of this. Now, imagine if it becomes a store of value. Even the Bitcoin guys would be, become crazy watching that. Why? Because at least most of them are not like Bitcoin maxis. Majority of common man, if they come in and look at what the asset is and what it is doing, the fundamental for this asset and how it's going to be used by the banks, central banks and other financial institutions, they would be putting their bets on this particular host named XRP instead of going on networks which are operating on proof of work. Now say you understand some of these ideas in which XRP is going to be used directly by Ripple, directly by one institution which is partnered with Ripple, or via ILP connecting towards XRP ledger. It can be using Coda settler, it can be using any other different mechanism which Ripple the company is allowing or getting connected towards, right? What would be happening to the price? That is ultimately majority of us are just looking at the price fluctuation and what really is happening. Now if you look at the charts, say this is a 12-hour chart in which you can see that the price actually, when the price was coming down, it touched this particular area. Look at this green box. The top it would be around 0.25 and the bottom it would be just below 0.24. So if you are looking at here, what you can see is the price tested that level once, then dipped into that. It got some attention from the buyers and it went to the upside again, but it was being rejected from that resistance line. Then it came back, it broke that particular box which is a support area that time. Then it retested that area a couple of times, so it becomes a support and resistance, a valid support and resistance zone. Then it capitulated because it couldn't go to the upside. It took some time and slowly it recovered. It retested that area for some time and then broke above, but there was a fake out and it went back into that range. It couldn't hold the bottom, which is the support of that trend, support resistance zone, and then it capitulated again. Now when it was coming back, meaning on the way back, it tested that area once, failed. Next time it went through it, right? And then it is coming back and testing that level as a support. Now as of now, what we can see is the price is not at the bottom of that support resistance zone. Like when it was crossing to the downside, it was at the bottom where it consolidated and stayed just below before the break. And if you look at just before the break to the upside, the price was at the top region, meaning in the support resistance zone. You can consider the top as resistance and the bottom as support. So here the price was at support and now it's at resistance. It's flirting with that resistance level. Now if it's respecting that resistance level and being capitulated from that area towards this support, it's a bit of caution. Now there are other things to be cautious about if you are looking at different charts in a different manner for XRP itself. But for this one, if we are breaking to the upside, chances are we are going to retest the moving averages soon. Say on a daily chart, if you zoom in and look at the moving averages, what you can understand is that the moving average, couple of them are acting as support. Say the 50 and 200 would be acting as a support at a time when others are acting as a resistance. But if we bounce from there, that's going to be a good news. Now if we zoom in, say on a 4-hour chart, this is a trend what we are watching. Now why I'm highlighting this one and this one here, this happened as a trend continuation pattern, meaning it was going to the upside, it got a couple of bounce, then it trended like this, broke to the upside and went to the upside. That doesn't mean we are going to the upside here, huh? It's a cautious symbol. Here we are going to the downside and making something similar. Say the first pattern here, the similar thing we actually got here, and then this pattern which we got here. So if it is a trend continuation, we are nearing this support. Say if the price is remaining at this support level, be cautious that the price may break to the downside and at least retest this bottom or test this previous resistance, making that as a support, meaning 0.22, 0.21 if that break to the downside. Now that's one scenario. Now if you zoom in on an hourly chart and look at this moving averages are getting a bit supportive here. If the price is bouncing towards 0.25 and managing to break above, not like these breaks which is kind of fake outs, if we can manage to stay above that, that's going to be a positive news. Now that's kind of the technical and fundamental side of it. Now if we look at things on a longer time frame range in which you should be looking at your targets, so you don't want to miss when XRP is actually winning this race. Say you bet on XRP and it's the right horse, it's kind of winning this race and you really don't want to miss. So what should you be doing? You should be looking at something which is a common sense to be being frank. You can actually argue that you'd really need an exit plan. Now we went through that previously. We understood that exit plans really matter because exit plans are stuff which give you a motivation and a clarification where you should be taking out your profit and where you should not be, right? So now these are the trend which I am just showing you guys because the support and resistance zone are kind of being valid. It's in one area it's support, next one it's resistance. So if we are breaking above this range and you are trading this market, you can actually see where we are going, right? 0.5 is going to be a resistance. No, maybe, but mostly we are going to get 0.6 to 0.7 as resistance. And then after breaking that, we may even go somewhere near this area, 1.6 to 2. So those are targets for whom? Those who trade. But what are the real targets for those who are interested in this market as a long-term holder? They would be or should be looking at least at half of this thing, which is 35% to the upside. Now, when we say 35% to the upside from the current level, you should be looking at what? Really huge gains. Now, say we are looking directly and quoting it towards 30,000%, the price reaches $77. Now, if you are looking at different trends, say this patterns, like this first fluctuation and then the next one, it should be taking you somewhere around $20, says $14 to $20 first, and then towards $60 to $80. So these should be the targets, right? Now that's in my opinion and my targets. If you are looking at different stuff, it's different. But if you understand that there is institutions entering this market, you need plan B and C, right? You should be improvising. Now for me, that would be like at the all-time highs, I would be taking 5% of my profit. Then say we enter $7.5, I'll be taking 2.5% of my XRP portfolio. Then $10, again 2.5, 12. Then if the price reaches $12.5, again 2.5. So I will continue to do so until I completely sell 50% of my XRP portfolio. The rest of 50 would be there for a long time, at least for me. That's my target. Now, what is your target? You should be asking yourself. And if you have confusion, you can actually discuss it with me. You can use the comment section in this one, or you can just use the email ID for PayPal which I have given here. It's not necessary, you don't have to pay anything. You can just discuss. If it is just one-time question and it won't consume hours of my time, then that's okay. So guys, I hope you actually received value for your time. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.